Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about transit Chiron Sextile or Trine one's natal sun. Now, this transit may manifest in physical and emotional wounds, helping and healing others, depleted self-esteem, being in harmony with one's life, physical body, vitality, energy. Now, I'm going to elaborate and expound on that. Now, this is not about depleted self-esteem being compatible or truly being in harmony with one's life, but this could be about dealing with your own whatever it is the reason you have some kind of depleted self-esteem or self-worth at this time, and being able to move on with your life, as carry on with your life as a result, in being able to do things, the physical body. It's also, if there's any, physical, suffering you're going through, it's about having now the energy to work through it, and it could be through, some kind of rehab with a physical injury at this time. And it's about being able to just be able to do things, associated with your life at this time, not letting some form of ineptitude that you feel you may have conflict with your life and what your basic wants are at this time. And I want to explain some things about the transit of Chiron. Okay, the transit of the Chiron doesn't supplant or replace your natal Chiron placement. Your natal Chiron placement is there for the entirety of your life. And the thing about it is, the transit Chiron, you could feel energy from it, during the transit. Something positive in this case, because you're talking about, sextile or trine aspect, and those aspects, of course, they are, auspicious, they're positive in astrology. Now, the thing about, this is, some may wonder, well, what's the difference between this transit and the conjunction transit? Now, they're comparable, but they're not precisely or exactly the same. The Chiron sextile trine aspect from Chiron to the sun, is positive, it's flowing, it's auspicious. When you have conjunction aspect, is a neutral aspect. It has good and bad qualities in it. It can be very intensifying and integrating. It's a strong concentration of energy. But the thing about it is, like, say if you have the conjunction, the conjunction transit can be obsessive. You have the transit Chiron, say it's conjoining one's natal sun. There could be, for example, there might be such a focus on healing, some kind of wounds, or helping and healing others, where it gets to the point where it's to the exclusion of other things, where you become oblivious to other things in your life. Or it could be, it could even be a time when there might even be a greater propensity for physical related wounds, because you're having the transit of Chiron making contact with the sun, and the sun can have a connection with the physical body. When you have the transit in a sextile or trine aspect, it's more auspicious. It's about more about being able to deal with wounds. If there's a physical related issue that you can that you have, it's more about being able to do it, have the vitality, the energy to deal with the matter at the time, have the focus on dealing with it. And it's more, again, it's more flowing energy. It's a time, if there's anything, if there's any suffering that's going on, the connection. The sun is also connected with the biological father and children. So if there's anything that needs to be healed with that those people, it may be more of an opportune time to do so. But anyway, I'm going back as far as this transit goes. This is also about being able, to take care, of your own, it could be some physical or emotional suffering, to be able, to pursue, what you want in life, your basic wants. If you have your natal sun in the zodiac sign Cancer, like I do as an example, it can be, matters with home and family, or just introverted activities. It could be doing things with history, nostalgia, as some examples. It's also a time, as I was saying before, having this transit of Chiron, sextile or trine one's natal sun, can be a positive aspect for doing things, with the biological father and children. It could be being able to help and heal them, or if the relationship was strained with these people, this could be an opportunity to be able to mend it. It can also be a time where those people can be in agreement with how you help others, in general, and how you help and heal those people. If you have, the natal, let's say the transit Chiron is in Scorpio under the 8th house, could be through some psychological issues, or, transformation, or helping people cope with death. It can be, a time, when you have this transit as well, anatomically speaking, the sun is connected with the heart, the spine, and the upper back. So, if there's any, issues that you had, with those parts that I just described that are anatomically connected with the sun, this could be the time to be able to do something, about, those issues, at this point in time. And it's because it's less likely to be procrastinating or hesitating, and it's about having the good powers of healing in matters with what I just described, that's anatomically connected with the sun and with the physical body in general. If the natal sun say is in Sagittarius, it could be some issues with the thighs or the sciatic nerve or hips, as some examples. Now, it's also a time, as well, where those people that I just described, with this before, that are connected with the sun, the biological father and children, they could be more in agreement with the way you help and heal others, at this time, and they could be, beneficial to you in any suffering that you may, be going through. At the time of this video that I'm making, transit Chiron is in Aries. Many people may have, collectively, maybe feeling some identity issue, or feelings of worthlessness, unworthiness at this time. And this is a time, if somebody's having this transit, at the time of this video, when it's making a sextile or trine to the natal sun, those people could be, again, the biological father, children, even dominant male figures in general in people's lives can be beneficial in those issues. Now, it's also the sun is also about our drive and our motivation. So there's more motivation and incentive at this time to deal with suffering, whether it could be on physical or an emotional level, at this time. And it's more of a time, if you're dealing with any issues that are that are physical or emotional, this is the time where it'd be less likely to impact your incentive, your drive, and your motivation to do things at this point in time. If the natal sun is in Scorpio, it could be you may be driven and motivated toward helping, or I should say, dealing with crisis, dealing with shared resources situations, making a major change or transformation, as some examples. And it's also a time, it might be very positive to shine in doing things where you're helping and healing others at this point in time. And keep in mind, transit, the Chiron is about weakness and where we feel we may have some ineptitude. And whether it's perceived or whether it's actually real. And this is a time when because the sun is about our consciousness, that we're more cognizant of these matters, and we have more of an ability to actually do something about those matters at this point in time when the transit does take place. Now, another way this transit could be expressed, it could be positive for helping and healing, which is Chiron. It could be others, just through the expression of your basic character, which is the sun. If the natal sun is in Capricorn, as an example, it could be the expression just being disciplined, structured, responsible, ambitious, being career oriented. Hold on a moment, people. Sorry about that, I'm back. But anyway, now also at this time, any issues with depleted self-esteem, which is Chiron, may be dealt with by focusing on what you want to shine, which is the sun. And now, if the sun is in Cancer, as an example, it could be shining in real estate, home-related matters in general, cooking or home renovation, remodeling, repair, as some examples. Now, it's also a time where it can be more propitious to deal with suffering, which is Chiron, and being assisted by the biological father and children, which is the sun. If the transit Chiron is in Libra, as an example, it could be, there might be some suffering that's associated, with legalities, legal issue, or lawsuit. Could be a relationship. It might be over some contract issue, as some examples. And also to physical and emotional trauma, which is Chiron, may really at this time might be a means of actually motivating, which is the sun. It might motivate you. If the sun, natal sun is in Leo as an example, it could be doing something, maybe propel you to greater heights in entertainment, or doing something that's more praiseworthy, maybe being successful, in the military. So anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying stay well.